Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we'll be discussing the root word Chron. So Chron means time. In Greek language, we have a word called as Chronos. So Chronos means time, and from this Chronos, Chron word has been originated. Now let's see the words one by one. We have the word called as chronic. So generally we'll be seeing that a chronic disease. Now what is the literal meaning of chronic? Chron means time. Generally here, if you see IC. Now what does this IC represents? IC represents actually an adjective. So when I say a chronic disease, that means a long-lasting disease. A long-lasting disease. For example, if you see diabetes, next if you see heart attack, all these can be generally long-lasting diseases. Second word, synchrony. Now what is the synchrony? Syn is similar or same, or let's say together. So all these can be generally used as the synonyms for sin. And Chron is altogether time. So what is this synchronous or synchrony? We'll take a small example to understand this. For example, there is a wheel over here, and this wheel is connected to a small other wheel by using a chain. Now for example, if this larger wheel is moving on, even the smaller wheel also moves. If this larger wheel stops, the smaller wheel also stops over there. And this we can generally call it as the synchronous machine. Synchronous means moving together. If this moves, this also moves. If this stops, this also stops over there. That is the synchronous machine. Now synchrony, that means moving together. Moving together can be the literal meaning of synchrony. If this is moving and this is not moving, what can we say that? We can say it as asynchronous machine. Asynchronous machine we can say altogether. So if they are moving hand in hand, we are calling it as synchronous machines. And if they are not moving hand in hand, we are generally calling them as the asynchronous machines over there. Now third one we have isochronous. Now what is this isochronous? Iso is equal. Chronos. Okay, chron is equal to time over there now. So what is this isochronous? We'll understand it with a small example. There is a pendulum. In our school days, we learned that, for example, if you move a pendulum to certain distance, and if you leave it, whatever the distance you are leaving, the same distance it will go over there, and again it will come back. So that is the isochronous. Iso means equal, chronos means time. That means taking equal time. Taking equal time over there. See the next word, anachronism. So ana, that means very simply we can say out of. Chron is altogether time over here, and ism can be altogether a noun altogether. So anachronism. So what is this anachronism? Anachronism is, for example, a movie shooting is going on. You are watching a movie, and the movie that you are watching is a 2000-year-old drama, a mythological drama movie you are watching. And when you are watching a mythological movie, at one point of time, you saw a aeroplane flying in the sky. And a 2000 years back, mythological movie, you're watching it, and a aeroplane is flying in the sky. Now finally, that can be anachronism. So anachronism is out of timeline. Okay, out of timeline altogether. So that means whatever that need to be in that timeline, it's not there, it is out of the timeline. So 2000 years back, was there an aeroplane? No. But in that movie, by accidentally or by mistakenly, they have just shot that frame over there where a aeroplane is flying over there. So that can be the best example for anachronism. That is out of timeline over there. Next word, chronobiology. Now what is this chron? Chron is altogether time over here, and next is bio. Bio is altogether life, and logy is altogether study over there. Now what is this chronobiology? Based on time changes how the animal behavior or the plant behavior is changing over a period of time. Change of plant or animal behavior over a period of time. All this would be calculated, and based on that, this is a science where how the animals and plants behave or change over a period of time. We learn it under a branch of science that is altogether the chronobiology over there. Here, chron is time, bio is life, and study logy is altogether study over there. Next word we will see. So glottochronology. So what is this glotto? In the throat part we have a glottis. This is the structure we have in the throat part. Now glottis or glotto, whenever if you come across this glottis would be a part of the tongue, and this will help us in speaking. Glottis or glotto, whenever the word has come, that means the language or the tongue. So now here let's make it as the tongue or language. And here we have the chron. Chron is altogether time and logy is altogether study over there. Now what is this glottochronology? That means study of language timeline. Language timeline. Now, over a period of time, how the language has spread, whether the number of people who were talking the language has decreased or increased, and all these aspects would be a part of this particular glottochronology subject. So, glotto means language or tongue, chron means time over here, and logy is altogether study over there. Let's see the next word. So, geochronology. Now, what is this geo? And geo is literally earth. Chron is altogether time over here, and logy is altogether study. Now, when I say geochronology, now what is the literal meaning? The literal meaning is study of earth time. So what does this mean now? Generally, how the earth rotates, at what point of time, etc. All these will be dealt in this particular subject called as the geochronology altogether. Okay. So geo means earth, chron means time, and logy is altogether study over there. See the next word, dendrochronology. Now what is this dendro? And whenever if you come across a word called as dendro, that's altogether a tree. For example, I said dendrology. Dendrology is study of trees. And chron is altogether time over here, and study is logy is altogether study over here. And when I say dendrochronology, so what does this mean now? So dendrochronology is the timeline of a plant or tree. For example, if you want to know the age of a tree, what will you do? Generally, if you cut the stem, inside the stem, you would see certain circular ring-like structures, and by counting these circular ring-like structures, now we can assume the age of a tree. So that can be nothing but the dendrochronology. So what is this dendrochronology? Finally, the age of a tree. Okay, the age of a tree by calculating the rings. So that can be the dendrochronology. Next we have chronograph. Now what is this chronograph? If you take some watches, in that particular watches, you would be seeing a larger dial, and inside you would see a smaller dial. Some 1 or 2 dials over there, and that can be something called as the chronograph watch. So the larger watch, and inside that you will be having altogether 2 or 3 smaller watches, and that can be generally considered as what now? The chronograph watch. For example, I said chron over here, it's altogether time, and next here graph we have. So what is graph? Graph, whenever if you come across the word called as graph, that can be recording or writing. So the literal meaning of graph can be recording or writing. Now chronograph watch, how shall we take this meaning? Here, measuring of time, let's take it as measuring of time. Next word, chronophobia. Now what is this chronophobia? Chrono, the literal meaning of chrono is altogether time, we all know that. Next, phobia. So phobia is altogether fear. Fear of time. We have done a dedicated video for phobia. We have done a dedicated video even for the graph also. Okay, so all these would be kept in the playlist. Just have a look at it. So finally, chronophobia is fear of time. Okay, fear of passing of time. So without time passes away, some people fear due to some aims or ambitions, something like that. Next we have chronicle. So what is this chronicle now? So chronicle, chron is altogether time over here. Next we have ICL. Now what is this ICL here? ICL can be altogether a noun. Chronicles, Deccan Chronicle, we have a newspaper. So whenever if you come across a word called as chronicle, that means very simply the time, the historical written records. The historical written records. Now these historical written records can be generally considered as The chronicles. So if I say Deccan Chronicle, that means the written records of the Deccan area, the South India, something like that. Okay. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Please share the video with your friends. Thank you.